Welcome back to the Delaware Way. Do you know when you run a 5K or a 10K or get in some charity event, many times the money that you give for the event doesn't go to its intended purpose. It just pays for the event itself, the administrative costs. Well, here's a gentleman that would like to change all that. Charlie Vincent is Executive Director of Spur Impact. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Explain
that part to me. So when a charity puts on an event like a 5K, it costs them a lot of money to do that.
Right. So 5Ks, like a lot of special events, are just time-intensive, administrative, resource-heavy. And, you know, using a 5K as an example, it might cost $5,000 or $6,000 to put the race together, as far as the race administration, the T-shirts, advertising, everything else. And then you're trying to get back to break even and then some to justify having the event.
So you really do it for the mailing list and the exposure, but the money that you raise really doesn't go, like let's say you're doing it for cancer, it doesn't go to cancer research because you have to pay for the event.
Yeah, I mean, some portion of it will go in the end. So if they can make after it. So
a lot of times they don't.
Right.
And so that's where your company comes in.
Right. So what I try to figure out is, if the goal of the race or the goal of the event is to raise money, how can you get those costs controlled from a nonprofit perspective? And so the Delaware Charity Challenge, we created as a way to create the event, and then the nonprofit would just come in and participate. They don't have to deal with the administrative costs, they don't have to deal with the marketing, they can just focus on their team, their donors, and raise money for them.
And you've been doing this for a few years now.
Yeah, we started the Delaware Charity Challenge in spring of 2015.
And how's that been going?
Good. So there's now 3 or 4 different charity challenge competitions over the course of the year. There's a 5K, there's a duathlon, there's an indoor triathlon, and then the teams participate in different ones depending on their schedule, and nonprofits will put in teams into different ones, and then they've been able to collectively raise over $150,000 for the different nonprofits that the teams have selected.
And they don't have the administrative costs that go along with that. So
right.
they're actually making money to do some good for their charities.
Right. I've heard from some nonprofits that they're getting 95 cents on the dollar for what they're raising through the event.
Where in the past they might have lost money.
Right, or they're spending 80 cents to raise $1 or something like that.
If it works the way you're saying, and I have no reason to question that it doesn't, it seems like a no-brainer. But what is the reluctance of a charity? Because they want their own event?
I think in some cases they want their own event, and they should have a signature event. The problem is when they do 6 or 7 or 10 or 20 signature events, it really starts to dilute how much they're ultimately raising for their mission. And right. So if they can get behind this, it's a way to get the benefit and upside of a 5K or some type of athletic competition.
And it's taken all your time, I would imagine. You have an event coming up.
Right. So the Spring 5K and Adventure Challenge Relay is coming up on May 5th at Lum's Pond.
And so you want charities to be involved. You already have a number of charities involved, but you would like more charities.
Oh yeah, the more the merrier. So we have a number of teams in this year. On the nonprofit side, there's a team raising for Ministry of Caring. And that team's been in since the beginning. They've raised more than $30,000 for Ministry of Caring, and Ministry of Caring hasn't had to spend a penny. So
how do they get a hold of you?
They can email me at charlie@challengede.com or give me a call at 302-566-8008, or they can visit the website delawarecharitychallenge.com.
That's great. It's a great idea.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Charlie Vincent is the Executive Director of Spur Impact. That's it for the Delaware Way for this week. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week.